Okay, hi, Bad Guys, Spy Guys, Part 5. There is a way to properly dispose of your equipment. Be careful of all of these things. We were driving down Highway 5, which has been adopted in, I don't know how long the furlong is, but has been adopted by ABC, and you know who owns them now. And we saw a lot, which you should put that video up because it's very interesting. There were a lot of company vehicles traveling south on the I-5, near the OC especially, um, with deposit all of your electronic equipment here. We'll dispose of it properly for you. Shredding, document shredding companies. It was just like, wow, is this a thing now? Not disparaging the business. I'm just telling you, be careful with where your stuff goes. Know the integrity. Because these companies might mean well. They might be spied, infiltrated. You don't know. Who want information. That is the thing right now, to make profiles of human beings with everything gleaned from social media, check marking. Oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. They're putting together a profile on you. Right?
Yeah.
You have documents that need to be shredded. Do it yourself and really get a high grade security shredder. They're expensive, but you will be saving your own rear ends by doing this. Do it yourself. I can't tell you how many hours we've spent watching a fun movie, eating popcorn, and just shredding things for a few hours. Make it a monthly thing, guys. I'm telling you, do it yourself. See access, right? Your equipment, keep it. Don't really, for now, just keep it in a safe place. There is a way to do this. I am not going to share that with you because I don't want to misinform you. We will get one of our board members who knows how to do this, and I'll have a special guest segment and do it with them so you can properly get rid. Can you write that as a note on the next page?
Sure.
So you can properly get rid of your old equipment because things are stored on its memory. Same thing with your phones. Keep all of your chips, keep all of your devices in a very, very, very safe place. Get the batteries out of them. All of this, because they can track you. I found my device reactivated on an old platform, on an old carrier. It's like, wait, didn't we just transfer this line? What's going on? We have that on video, the whole thing. Right? Remember, that was really creepy. It's like, wait, we just transferred this. What is this doing back on the old carrier? They didn't want us to go. Access. Yeah, right here. May still reside in the memory of a copier, printer, fax machine, etc. That is the honest to God truth, people. In the right hands, this isn't a problem. In the right hands, aren't we all working together? But in the wrong hands, the bad guys are working together. I'm warning you. Can't say you weren't warned. Be aware of this. Okay. Sorry, but I just wanted to give more examples.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You're doing great.
Alright, so employment solicitation, theft or unauthorized photography of products at trade shows.
Wait. Let's take each element. Okay, so read one and ask if I have an example.
Okay, do you have an example?
Yes, I do. Okay, employment solicitation. Actually, you should have remembered this. Remember when you were solicited? He got an email saying, how about working for really great money in Philadelphia, right? At this one institution?
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
I know we can forget a lot of these little details because so much has been happening. But yeah, during the midst of us being pulled apart as a company, they will aim for your strongest members and try to say, dangle carrot, here, why don't you bite? And then I said, well, you know what? Right away, I knew it was a phishing scam. They didn't realize the closeness. They didn't realize the connection between all of us, and that worked advantageously to our benefit. We've heard people on set talk very badly, remember, about him, and they didn't realize he was one of my beloveds, and we caught them actually. And they didn't realize you were recording, because we record rehearsals, everything. We need to make sure we have a lot of signage to let people know, even though we voice it saying we're recording it. And so, we weren't very happy about that, but it happens. We understand. You were so cool about it. I would have been pissed off, and I was on your behalf, but anyway. Water under the bridge. But yes, he was pursued because, look guys, they want to try to tear your company apart. I'm not talking about borrowing somebody if you're in a jam, because we've borrowed other people's dancers. We were in a jam. It was a friend, it was a favor. That was as far as it went, obviously. We weren't trying to rub it in or anything like that. And we asked, hey, make sure it's okay with your beloved that we borrow you for a little while. And they said, you know what, I'm not under contract, so you don't even have to clear it. So I'm like, okay. It was just a one-time thing. Not that we're against having this person work for us again. I just didn't want to, make it look like we were trying to steal somebody away from somebody. And, it wasn't that, and we didn't do that. So that's respect, too, on our behalf as well to that one person. But, yeah, that whole thing about employment. So, see, it could look innocent, just like how we borrowed somebody. Or it could be more insidious. How do you know? Well, you have to keep digging and digging and digging, and the fact that we knew at that point we were just strongly suspecting that something was, eavesdropped upon. And we spoke of things behind the scene, and of course they heard me say, phishing, scam, that this is our enemy trying to bait you. And they just stopped communicating. So we're pretty sure that they got the message. Yeah. Good example though, huh?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So, theft or unauthorized photography of products at trade shows.
Which one is this one now?
This one.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to figure out what
that means.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a trade show, they show unreleased products, and people sometimes try to get pictures of those products.
Oh, yeah. Well, we actually had something kind of similar to that happen. There was an event, and of course you've seen our photos online. They took one of our photos and submitted it for a trade show to be included, so it didn't look like, wait, one of your top companies is not participating in this? Why? So they used it without us knowing. But we knew, and we didn't want to be asses about it. We're like, okay, thanks for wanting to include us, but I wish you would have just formally asked. But they didn't want to ask us because they were trying to keep a status of we're in control of you. So you see, if somebody, hey, look, you didn't submit anything, this is what we would do as good people. Would you like to be included because you are an important part of the community? It would look bad if you're not, and we understand that, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of doing that, they just took something that they saw in public and submitted it on our behalf. And like I said, while the sentiment is really appreciated, we have things not better photos, but more specific photos that we would have used instead. So, kind of be careful about that. Like I said, we didn't want to be asses about it because it was nice to do and we appreciated it, but we didn't at the same time. And, so we were trying to give, sorry, I'm sweating, the benefit of the doubt, so we were trying to do that, but something like that has happened. And we also had people take photographs of our sponsorship wall, because we've always had a lot of great sponsors. It's when they bother us and try to manipulate and say, nope, you're not getting the sponsor anymore. And they inject themselves and they go to the sponsor and they try to say all sorts of things. Let me just pretend and fathom something here. For example, hypothetically, we are puffed up in their reputation. We'll give you more. And then all of a sudden, those people aren't talking to us anymore. And, so that called attention unnecessarily to they, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another thing. So, be very careful with reaching out to people who already have sponsors like that. And it's not that the people can't sponsor more than one, but when we were dropped and somebody else was picked up, and, we tracked it. It was like, well, isn't that obvious? We worked hard. We did it legitimately, And I'm like, oh my God, I had such a good relationship. And now they put the wedge. Going back to the wedge thing. So, yeah, it's good that you stop between each one because, unfortunately, I do have examples of all this stuff. But, there's more, but that just gives you an idea.
Mm-hmm. Burglary.
Oh, God. Yeah. Go ahead.
Next one?
No, just keep reading the whole thing.
Okay, this includes copying of restricted documents where the originals stay in-house.
So, yeah, that's basically stealing your stuff. And it's really bad. We've had that happen a few times, too. And I'm like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do?
Next one?
No, I don't know. But it doesn't necessarily have to be like that either. People can just open up a corner of the envelopes, which we've had. We even had from the copyright office, and they're not supposed to do this, not seal it because you could see that the glue was not activated. You could still see the grain. And they just used a small little piece of tape. Oh, okay, well, here, anybody can see it. We videotaped the whole thing so you can see it very high definition that the glue is not activated. There was a small little stupid piece of tape. And I'm like, well, now we're going to be public. They rejected our copyright for Breathe, for Red Ribbons, Part 1, because they were trying to blame us after we had sent an email. Would you have to recuse yourself? Because you're acting very strange and it looks like you're just fishing for more information. Who are you going to give our, manuscript to? Are you going to let anybody see it? Etc. And we basically had to say, well, you know what? It's already published. It's very well established. It's based on my true life story put in like cartoon form. My whole Red Ribbons thing and slavery of children and all of it, and what the Red Ribbon stands for. We just made a very nice little cartoon version of it, just trying to protect my story on all levels possible. And anyway, so that's another form of burglary too, by giving somebody access that way, by not taping an envelope completely shut, or peeking in an envelope and then replacing it. There's a device where you can, I was told, I don't know how to do this, but like you stick it in there and you fasten it and you go like this, you slip it out, read it, put it back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. We have evidence of that too. Go ahead.
Alright, dumpster diving.
Oh, sorry. And we've actually been burglarized, like somebody coming into our premises and doing stuff and theft of very expensive things, a wool coat, and I'm like...
Yeah, stealing stuff.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Dumpster diving. Finding information in your company's trash. Anything?
Oh yeah, we've had that. We had a lot of people actually we found doing that. This is Los Angeles, or sometimes we're in Vegas, sometimes we're in New York, but for right now, okay, being in Los Angeles, we had a lot of people do that, and supposedly homeless people are doing that to get, recyclables so they can make money. I'm not necessarily against that, but
these people seem a little too well dressed to be homeless, though.
Yeah, and you can tell with their skin. These are not homeless people that have had to weather the elements. You can always tell the difference. Real homeless people look a certain way, they act a certain way. These weren't actors of some sort, life actors, spies. I don't know what to call what they are from the they. And they access information this way. So we're like, oh my gosh, everything from products that we consume, and then we found it very interesting that products we consumed were food poisoned. We have that on video too, of 1 or 2 items that happened to us, because they find out who we're associating with, and that is an association. And how did they know it was our trash? Well, interestingly enough, we received a document, and the people were starting to like fold and neatly wrap like a present packaging their trash. You're like, what the hell is this? It was weird. And I was like, I hope they don't expect us to do this, because we're not. You know, I like wrapping Christmas presents, birthday presents, Hanukkah gifts, whatever. But I ain't going to be doing that with trash. I'll recycle, I'll do that kind of stuff. But, and then it was like, oh, well, it wouldn't be too hard to find out whose trash belonged to who. You see? And they're trying to make it some kind of a, you know, procedural type thing that had to be done. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think so. So we had to get to the place where even our bodily fluids, hair being cut, anything that was belonging to us had to be disposed of in a different way, because it was being used against us. Oh yeah, beloveds, this is really bad. You know that whole thing about stars, real high-end superstars, and I'm not mocking them, would have their fans, real intense crazy fans, supposedly do this. Well, what if these were not real hyper duper crazy fans, but people actually employed on some level by the they to keep control of these people? I got the star treatment, let's just put it that way. You know, I worked for Aaron Spelling. I am not ignorant of a lot of things that were going on. A lot of things make sense now, what he said to me. At the time, I was a stupid kid. Smart for my age, but not smart enough, apparently. But, just saying. Okay, let's continue.
Alright, next, joint ventures.
Oh my god. I have tried, I mean, I don't want to say that one thing that we had involved with, because that was a mentor, but I don't think so. But hopefully not. If we find out different, then I just have to suck it up and be hurt. I mean, you know, yeah, it could have been, but maybe not. Maybe, you know what, here's the other thing too. People are used unknowingly. Just like I was a tool used against my beloved, and my beloved was used a tool against me. That can happen too. That can. I don't really want to talk about that too much, because it's too sensitive of a wound for me.
That's fine. It's very vague anyway.
Yeah.
Next, front companies, which is basically like fake companies that are used to
infiltrate the money to the truth, the real thing, the real business behind the scenes.
In other words, it takes a hit for things.
Yeah. It can serve us as a filtering tool, a prop up, a deflect, a redirect, and it can be a casualty of war in a sense, where it's just collateral damage. Okay, that one goes down, we'll put another one up in its place. No big deal. But it is. There's something not right with something going on there.
Next, unsolicited requests for information. In other words, people usually phishing, like via email or in person, just asking questions and stuff.
Right, and it doesn't have to be so random like that either. It can actually be, which we have found out during a process of actually trying to file complaints. There are spies within that whole process too, we found out very easily. A few times, you know, he or somebody else on our board will call in to the Washington, D.C. comment line, and remember how you found the supervisor's files, what was it again?
The comment?
You called the comment line at DC and you found people posing as supervisors.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm not too privy on the whole process there, but that was happening too, which, where are we? Front companies, yeah. Oh, wait, no, unsolicited request. So, we were kind of being solicited for more information via that means, and that's not President Trump's problem or fault. He didn't even know. We had to bring it to certain people's attentions, and we were thanked for doing so. And we caught people. But it could be a legitimate means, not just so random and unsolicited in a sense. It could be unsolicited in a very functional means, like when we're filling out these applications and they want to find out other information and disguise getting the application filled out in a way. They can sneak in some other stuff. A couple times I had to tell them to shut up and stop. It's like, this isn't your information. Like, we were calling up a senator's office, who I'm not going to say who it was, and the person there was saying, well, how do you know your car is under surveillance? And it's like, you're a secretary, you're a receptionist, that is not your privy, that is not something you're supposed to be asking. You're supposed to be putting me in touch with the people who can help us. Mm-hmm. So that was a dead giveaway right there. I'm like, you blew your cover. So that is a very good example of all of this. So while we appreciate everything that we were led to on the FBI's site, there's also another portion of this that comes in a very wolf in sheep clothing disguise. You just have to find the zipper. You might have to dig around in the fur a little bit. You can find that zipper and just totally unzip it and make them naked. Not really, but you understand the analogy. Okay, go ahead.
Alright, so the next one, which actually we talked about this already, elicitation. I'll read the description for this one. Developing a friendship with an employee with the intention of obtaining restricted data or products. The employee will see someone who appears non-threatening and interested in his or her work. In other words, this is the point 1 article B over here that we did before. Infiltrate and befriend.
Yeah, it's very insidious. It's horrible. Like, in one case, we had traveled someplace and we were doing an event and we were noticing, oh great, the sky here has skywriting too. The white dusting, crop dusting. Except we human beings were the crops. It's like, wait. Because crop dusting for insecticide and stuff like that, they're supposed to fly very low and just stay close to the field. Not get high up in the air and contaminate our food, water, clothing, breathing, everything, right? So I was saying, wow, it's here too. And then the person who infiltrated saying, yeah, but what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? Nothing wrong with that. Lovely person. I really like that person very much, but, kind of gave themselves away, darling. Which is unfortunate, really, because I do love everybody. See, I've been showing examples where they're infiltrators. I'm like, I just love everybody. Call me naive, but I'm not really. God just made me a vessel of love, deeply, obviously. Who could stand all this and be strong enough? But they infiltrated, and they gave themselves away by saying that, because right then, right, didn't we kind of know? That was like, oh, damn, that person too. And what can you do? Actually, beloved, a lot. And, right then and there, I knew we had to be careful. Had to be careful. And unfortunately, it now pointed at that one location as a target by the they. They had all their people in place too, on the political level, on the 7 pillars of society. The city is targeted too. We're doing our best here. We don't want these cities targeted. We love this country. We do not want this country infiltrated. Just how all of this, you can apply this to a business, to your family, to your country, all of this. That is the beauty of this skeletal framework. And it's being done, beloveds. Wake up. That is what's being woke is about. Not, oh, I have this real revelation and I'm going to have this great life because I say so, type of a thing. You really need to know what's going on behind the scenes here. So yeah, unfortunately, and that person seemed unthreatening. I seem unthreatening too, so, you know, again, trying to plant the seeds here to subliminally get me, well, make me think that there's nothing we can do, right? Mm-hmm. Good example of another aspect of this. But no, what can you do? You call Washington, D.C., call your congressperson, you write letters, you try to find out and sleuth who's actually doing these things. It doesn't have to be just this, you know, white sky issue. It can be a lot of different things. You can find out things about sleuth. Who's on the board of all of these things? Look at the connections with what they represent and other items and products and companies that they're connected to. Put 2 and 2 together, make your dissertation, and voila, you already have a good map, and an access map, association map, a puzzle being formed with pieces, okay? And they actually fit together. Be aware. Be aware. Okay, go ahead.
Last one, electronic surveillance.
Oh my God.
Listening devices in your hotel room, cell phone hacking, etc.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily cell phone hacking. It's direct access, and we know this because look online. There's so many articles already written saying, "Oh yeah, well we're listening in." That's how we provide good searches for you. That's how we provide, you know, supposedly in the guise of marketing. I was involved in marketing. I worked for a very good, legitimate company at the time. It was not like this, beloveds. We not only didn't have these devices at the tips of our fingers, because it was right on the cusp of it all coming out, but real marketing is really hard. It's not taking the easy way out, finding out the heartbeat and profile of a human being. And let me tell you something. You guys might think you have a profile on me or all these other people, but human beings turn it on and off that quickly. Okay, my favorite color will probably always be blue, but maybe not. Or maybe my favorite color blue is only the favorite color to look at, but to wear is something different, okay? You just don't know. That is going to be the worst information. Or maybe something happened between the time you profiled and compiled all this information and the present, and that person could be totally turned off, so the very thing you're marketing to them could piss them off. Like there's certain companies that we've found out more information on, so anytime it's solicited to us now, I'm like, I can't stand that, you know? Whereas before, it was a love relationship, you know, liking something that much. I'm using that very loosely, of course. And we've given you enough examples of all this electronic stuff. But, you know, be careful that it isn't that the source is not the company itself that's saying they're being hacked. It can be. Factual truth will prove it right or wrong. We've had our accounts mimed where they were actually pretending to be us and communicating with other people, and I'm like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful there. It can be actual hacking, or it can actually be third parties employed by the company to hack their own site as a cover-up. The myriad of examples are out there, and then we have some examples that we may have been the first. Sometimes we feel like that we were the guinea pigs in some cases to see, oh, is that going to fly or not? Let's test it on them. We're not your test subjects, and you're getting in trouble for everything you've done. Okay, continue.
That's it.
Oh. Now, here are some things that can happen. Oh my God. information that could be targeted, proprietary formulas and processes, prototypes, blueprints, research, right? Am I reading this right?
Yeah, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, because I'm having a hard time. It's
Okay.
bigger writing,
Yeah.
so I can read it better, but
Yeah. Technical components and plans, confidential documents, computer access protocols, passwords, employee data, manufacturing plans, equipment specifications, vendor information, customer data,